What you are looking at is soon to be Major Hurricane Melissa. Currently, Hurricane Melissa is a Category 2 hurricane and is expected to become a Category 5 hurricane just before landfall on Jamaica, which is going to bring winds potentially in excess of 200 miles an hour, torrential rainfall upwards of 500 millimeters or 40 inches, as we are going to be seeing major flooding, catastrophic wind damage, and this is just a look currently at Hurricane Melissa. And you can tell we are really starting to get close here to Jamaica as we speak. Outer bands are actually really starting to reach eastern Jamaica now, and we are seeing this burst of energy here in the center, and that is not a good thing, as that is actually a sign of strengthening. And if we go ahead and look here at all of our advisories in our latest NHC cone, you can tell we are expected to have a major hurricane at landfall all the way up through Cuba, and after it passes Cuba and enters into some of the Bahamas, we are going to see just a hurricane, and this may actually end up tracking up towards Bermuda too as a weak hurricane or tropical storm. But one thing I'd like to point out is all of Jamaica is now under a hurricane warning, with parts of Cuba under hurricane watches, parts of Haiti under tropical storm warnings. And I would like to point out, Haiti, you are not out of the clear of a hurricane, as you do have hurricane watches in effect. So I need you guys all to be staying prepared if you are in those areas. And here's a look at what the track is, and I'd like to just point out we do not really have any other scenarios now. The scenario is go over Jamaica and shoot to the northeast. That is the scenario that is going to happen. And you can tell here it's kind of going to stall out over Jamaica for about 24 hours, 18 to 24 hours, bringing torrential rainfall for passing over Cuba into the Bahamas and shooting out to the northeast, maybe just missing Bermuda before it finally just disintegrates over the northern Atlantic. This is a look at our latest spaghetti models, and you can tell here that all of them have it hitting Cuba, or I should say Jamaica, and all of them have it going up through Cuba and the Bahamas. And then we are still a bit scattered on if this is going to be going towards Haiti, or not Haiti, towards Bermuda, pardon me. But Haiti, you guys do need to be watching this, as although it does not look like you guys are going to be directly hit, you definitely are going to be seeing some impacts from this storm. Here's a look at the latest intensity guidance charts. You can tell here our models are all picking up on a very strong hurricane at some point, anywhere between Cat 3 to Cat 5. NHC does believe Category 5 is going to happen, as they do have a Category 5 cone out, so we definitely need to be watching this closely. Here's a look at all the rainfall that we are going to potentially see, and you can tell here 1,000 millimeters. Eastern Jamaica, 1,000 millimeters. That is almost 40 inches of rain. That is dangerous. You can tell almost all of Jamaica is seeing at least like 400 millimeters. Like, this is not a good thing. Like, we really need to be watching this closely. This is dangerous amounts of rainfall. So make sure if you are in Jamaica, you are keeping a very close eye on this system. Here are your hurricane threats again. Tornadoes, some of which can be strong. Winds can exceed 175 miles an hour, and storm surge can be up to 20 feet. Jamaica, I'm showing you the hurricane action plan. We are pretty much to the red section now. We are still in this yellow, but we're nearing the red. I just want you right now, make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Check hourly for updates from your reliable source, and evacuate if you need to now. Like, leave while you can, because as this gets closer, by the minute, time is ticking. So do not leave if you are in the middle of it, and confirm with everyone you know what to do if and when a warning does come through. Now, moving on to the severe weather side of things, we do have multiple risks today. We do have a marginal risk here on the west coast in portions of Washington and Oregon. Do have another marginal risk further to the east in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Large marginal risk extending from portions of Mississippi back into Texas, and a slight risk extending from Texas back into portions of Mississippi through Louisiana. With this, we do actually have a 5% tornado risk in play for tonight over a pretty large area, extends from southwestern Mississippi back into southern Texas. A very large 2% tornado risk. Now, we do need to watch if this is going to really pan out. And we are going to be live on the channel tonight, 10:30 Central, 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 Mountain. We do have severe wind risks. We do have 5% risks back here in the Pacific Northwest, 5% wind risk back here in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas, and a 15% risk across those same states. I did not point it out, but we do actually have a 2% tornado risk back up here in Washington and Oregon across the same areas as brown. So definitely be paying attention today in those areas, I guess tonight. We do have a 15% hail risk also tonight back here in Texas, and then a 5% hail in Louisiana and Texas. This is mainly going to be with initial storms that do fire, but overall our hail risk does look much lower than our tornado and wind risk. Moving on to tomorrow, we do have a pretty large marginal risk of severe weather, and this is going to be a pretty low end day tomorrow. We do actually have the chance for a brief tornado or two tomorrow from the Florida Panhandle back into portions of Louisiana, places like New Orleans are in that risk. 5% wind and no hail risk tomorrow. Then on the day 3 risk, we do have 2 separate general thunderstorm risks. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this. I would not be surprised if we did end up getting a marginal risk in here in portions of Nebraska, but we'll just have to watch it closely. Moving on to what radar could look like tonight, we do have storms currently ongoing and firing as we speak back here in Texas. Those are going to continue to push to the east and kind of form into a clustery line. As they pass over the border into Louisiana, we could get a few isolated storms that fire up in front, along with some that do congeal with the line, and those that congeal are going to be the ones bringing that tornado risk. And we're also going to have some storms coming out of the Gulf that we have to watch. Those are also going to bring that elevated tornado risk with any water spout that may try and come onshore. And then we do have a pretty potent damaging wind threat, it does appear, as we head throughout the overnight hours with a bit of a messy cluster. So we're definitely going to have to watch it, and I will just keep you updated. And like I said, we are going to be live tonight with an update on Hurricane Melissa and severe coverage if it is necessary. Moving it to the northwest here, currently storms are ongoing, and honestly we're not going to see much more out of these. So overall our severe risk is dying down across really just this area, and I would not be surprised if they dropped both of the marginal risks that are across like those areas. Moving on to what we can expect tomorrow, our storms are going to end up pushing through, and as they push through, we're going to see some more storms kind of fire, and they're going to bring a lower tornado risk, but it's still not going to be zero. So we're going to watch it, but overall severe risk is going to be very low tomorrow. So we're going to be watching it, but nothing too concerning. Now, what is causing all of this, you may be wondering, and this is a shortwave trough that is currently, it's been kind of ejecting over the past couple of days, very slow moving, and it has promoted widespread severe weather across this whole area so far, and it is, like I said, expected to spread into this area for tomorrow before it moves offshore and severe threats die down. But we're gonna have to watch it as the day 3. We may see an isolated severe risk across that area. But as we head throughout the rest of October, our jet stream is going to remain very uncertain on what it's going to do. Like this right here was not showing up yesterday, and this is 4 days out. This is next Wednesday. We could see a bit of a more organized severe weather event, so it's very uncertain what is going to happen with our jet stream here. But honestly, it does not look too potent as we head throughout the rest of October into early November. So nothing too concerning, it does look like, as this may have been a quiet second tornado season, which would not be bad. Here's what radar looks like, and you can tell overall severe threats do look like they're going to be low. Like I said, next Wednesday we are going to have to be watching for a bit of a low end severe threat across a pretty large area. That would be due to that trough ejection that may happen. Like I said, low end severe threats for both of those days. And then we could actually start to see some snow back here in Pennsylvania and New York if this does occur. This would be next Friday, and anything past next, or this would be this Friday, I should say, this upcoming Friday. Anything past here Saturday, anything past here, we do get a bit more uncertain with what is going to happen. But it does look like high pressure is going to return into the United States and dominate as we head throughout the rest of October into the first week of November. And the GFS is picking up on a bit of an snow and ice system back there in North Dakota and South Dakota. Take this with a grain of salt. This is very far out, about almost 300 hours, so we'll watch it. That would lead to actually a pretty big snow system, though, if it were to occur. It looks like across this whole area. So it's something that we'll definitely watch if it happens, but overall the chances right now are very low. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy today's video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. Make sure you have notifications turned on to know if and when we do go live. See you guys in the next one. Peace.